Okay, I'm not sure if this is going to work because I don't know how well this camera is going to be able to do close-up shots. It's the camera on my phone. We're going to try it anyway and see what it does. And I'm also not sure if this light's going to behave, but we'll try that too. So this is a Logitech. It also doesn't focus well on up close. It's a Logitech Harmony 650 remote. It's a really nice programmable remote that lets you do multiple devices, and it's awesome when you have older remotes and want to have a single remote for everything. I highly recommended these back when they still existed as a product. The problem is, my wife liked it so much, she used it all the time, specifically this button right here. This was the power button to turn the stereo on and off, as well as the power button to turn some of the other devices on and off. So after a few years, this button started getting flaky, so I bought a replacement remote back when they still sold these, and then I just had this one as a backup because it worked for all the other buttons. But today I figured, okay, I didn't want to get up and get the other remote, so I decided to play with this, and I did eventually, with lots of pushing, get this one to work. However, then I decided, okay, I'm going to take it apart and we'll just try and do a video to show this, because I know other people have shown this on other channels, but this is just what I was dealing with this remote. So first, and I've already taken it apart, so these pieces don't exactly fit where they were originally. But there was, let's see, there were 3 screws. So this back section, oh no, actually there was 4 screws. So there was a screw here, here, and here. So once you take those 4 out, then you can carefully pry along the sides and get the back off. Well, I got the back off up to the point where it was not coming up here. So I was pulling, and suddenly went pop. Well, it broke off those 2 tabs. You can see here, there's little tabs. Because it turns out there was 2 other screws up at the top. This is a little piece that comes off, that then you can get to the screws. So if anyone else has a Harmony 650 remote and you want to take the back off, take this little attachment piece off first. It goes on right below this plastic bit, and with a little bit of careful prying, this will come off, and then you can actually get to the other screws, and then with a little more prying it'll come off without breaking the little bits off. So then it's like, okay, I got it off. At that point, there were these 3 silver colored screws. One was down here, one was here, one was here. I took those out. Then this part lifts up off. And here's the part when I tried to do this in the last take, it didn't show up. So we'll see if it does any better this time. Come on, focus on that, not the table. Now, it's going to do about the same thing. Well, I'm not sure how well this is going to work, but we're going to try it. So now if you look with this, you can see the upper, well, it's kind of the upper left. You can see the one is darker, the upper left one of those 2, again, right there. The upper left one, looking through this, looks darker. That's the one that has the silicone oil on. If you look at any of the other buttons, which again, looking through this magnifier with the phone, it's a hand magnifier, it's not ideal. But you can tell none of those are really dark. Let's see if this will work. I doubt it, but who knows. It might, if I can get it angled correctly. This is the problem with doing stuff on the fly. Stuff doesn't always work. Alright, let's see. Yeah, that one. Well, you can see the one on the... You can see that this one looks like a plain darker dot, and that one looks more shiny. Well, again, I think of it, it looks... Oops, there we go. This is very hard. The one on the right of those 2 looks darker plain black, and one on the left looks a little more shiny. But anyways, that just means that this one is the one that has the silicone oil problem. So now I'll clean it off and then put it all back together, and it should work for a while. I'm also going to try and find, well, since it doesn't show up on camera, I'm going to look in person through the magnifier up close and see if I can tell if that carbon has worn off at all. If it has, I bought a few years ago a little container of, well, let me go find it. So I bought this. This thing does not do well for zooming in. Does okay otherwise. Anders Products from 2 Connector Road, Andover, Massachusetts, 01810. I don't even know if they're still in business. This was a while ago. But this is Keypad Fix. Contains carbon and a non-toxic binder. AndersProducts.com is what that says. Again, this phone does not do well just with zooming in. But in any case, what this is, so let's see if I can open it without causing problems. It is a liquid that you can stir up and then put on, and it will apply a at least temporary, unless more silicone oil comes out, extra layer of carbon to fix keypad press issues. So anyway, that's the project. I don't know if I'm gonna record after. I guess I can record after. So I'll clean it up and put it back together and see if it works. Well, cleaning it off, you can see the carbon that came off and the liquid just on the tissue. Now, again, this is the worst camera ever for trying to zoom in. But in any case, it does not look darker than the other one. So now I'll put it back together. Well, it's back together, and pressing the button, it does. Let's see if it'll show up on here without being all glared. Probably not, because the light is horrible. But when the button works, down in this corner, you can see, well, like if I push this button, you can see that little signal. So if I push this button here, there it triggered, there it didn't, there it triggered, there it didn't, there it didn't, there it didn't, there it did. As compared to one of the other ones, trigger, trigger, trigger. So it's better, but it's still not great. So before I put the other screws back in, I may try and put the contact liquid on just to see if that helps. I did clean off some of the other buttons. Some of the other ones also showed a little bit of silicone oil, or at least a little bit of the dark color came off on the tissue. But yeah, so anyway, that's this project. Not necessarily a success, but not a complete surprise, at least for me. But that's, if you ever take, the other thing that you can do, it's a lot of work, but I've seen other people do it online, and I've always thought about doing it, but just haven't gotten around to it, is take these remotes completely apart and make brand new buttons in a different case. Because if you made new buttons out of something else, it would work just fine. Like if, for example, you just had a carbon rod and you just touched it, it would trigger. Now granted, that'd be a really weird remote, but you could make new buttons and all sorts of other crazy steampunk or other sorts of remote type things. Maybe if I ever do one of those, I'll do a video, but I doubt that I'll ever get to that. But in any case, this is a video on silicone oil problem, and like I said, this is cleaning it off just with wiping it with a tissue. I probably should have used some rubbing alcohol, and I may try that before I put I'll have to do that anyway before I put this stuff on, just to see if that'll help the contact hold a little bit better. But that's the video.